Video is sponsored by STS Footwear. Footwear of the fans, by the fans, for the fans. Get your own Gator sneakers at stsfootwear.com and use the code GTFans for $15 off at checkout.
To win.
Do you do anything differently than on defense than you would for this team and this quarterback?
I don't know if you do anything differently in the sense of we've played athletic quarterbacks before. You've just got to understand your ability to collapse the pocket. You've got to understand your leverage on the guy. You've got to understand how we need to try to work to keep the guy in the pocket. If we're adding other guys, we just got to understand how we need to fit it, and then just go play to your ability and play fast.
Dan Mullen talked about balancing the fun during this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday when at practice, I noticed a lot of the defenders kind of switched jerseys out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Was that something that you guys kind of coordinated before?
No, that was all them. I mean, we kind of talked about from day one when we got here, having the ability to understand that, hey, you've earned this opportunity. So when it's time to have fun, enjoy it. You've earned that right, have fun. But when we're in meetings or we're on the practice field or it's time to prepare for the game, we need to focus in on the task at hand, because the number one thing is to win the game here. And I think the leadership and character of our team, they've done a good job of that. And it obviously makes for a much more enjoyable bowl outing when guys are mature, handle their business, and you don't have to deal with issues. And our guys have done a really good job with that. You know, they came out yesterday in a unit, singing "We're Ready," I guess, and had the jersey switch. So as long as we play with energy in practice, I'm cool with that. So I thought it was fun, and it was a good practice, and we look forward to getting out there today and having our final practice.
I did double take when I saw TJ Slayton's jersey, and then I said, wait a second.
Yeah, I know. That's the only thing is, and I'm used to being around those guys all the time, and all of a sudden you're used to a number, and then when you see that number a little bit larger, you're like, wait a minute, who is that? You got to, so, we got a little feel for it and kind of understood who was who, but it was definitely something that spiced practice up in the beginning.
And you talked about leadership, how it allowed you to kind of have that professionalism in the meeting rooms. A lot of the seniors is what really helps you build that leadership.
Yeah, and I think that our guys have taken ownership in the team, and I think anytime your players take ownership in the team, it allows you to reach your potential, and I think our guys have done a good job with that.
One of those guys is John Grenard.
Yeah.
He really stepped into that leadership pretty quickly for a grad transfer.
Yeah. I think, being that I'd recruited John, I knew a lot about him. And I think that his character, work ethic, his preparation, his ability to make plays gave him instant credibility with the team. And then from there, he kind of became a voice because he has that kind of leadership. He has that kind of mindset. And when guys saw how he worked, how he prepared, how he made plays, he really became an instant leader that guys listened to.
And it looked like, when you look at the defensive line, guys like Kyrie Campbell and TJ Slayton really worked in the offseason especially to get prepared for this season. I know Kyrie told me that he kind of switched to gear and nutrition, for instance.
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing with we really take a lot of pride in developing players, and it takes a while, meaning you just don't come in as a freshman or first year and it's there. And nutrition is a big part of that, and Kyrie was a guy that wants to be a really good player. We were actually thinking about redshirting him last year, but because of his competitive toughness and the way he played, he earned the right to play. And as he's developed, it became like we always talk to our guys about how do you become the next step? How do you get to become the better player? And some of that is nutrition. And, he's a guy that took a lot of work in that, because that's probably the hardest thing for guys is the nutritional aspect, because it's something you don't see like tomorrow. Even when you work out in the weight room, you feel it that after the workout, whereas nutrition, that's something that is takes a little time to see the change, and you got to stay focused. And he's a guy that's pretty dedicated in his task to be a good player. He committed to it and ended up being productive for him.
He said he had to give away fried chicken.
Yeah,
that was the big thing for him.
Yeah, he did, and it paid off because he certainly developed his body to allow him to be functional.
Now, when you look at that DB unit, that very young DB unit, it seemed like a lot of them have taken a lot of steps forward since their arrival. Guys like, Perry Elam especially.
Yeah, I think when you look at Elam, he's a guy that is really patient, will play the ball in the air, he takes coaching, and really all of those guys, though, have been a pleasant surprise in the sense of they've taken the coaching, they're working hard to be good players, and I think all of those guys moving forward are going to be productive for us at the corner position.
And how happy are you at Marco Wilson and how he adapted so quickly to that new position at nickel?
Yeah, I mean, when you can make it same as, even though it's a nickel corner position, there's a lot of the same techniques, fundamentals that you play. You're just playing in the slot. Marco's a pretty smart guy that has the ability to adapt, and that kind of showed. And he has really good instincts, awareness, and can be a dynamic star for us. And now he gives us the flexibility to play outside or inside based upon need. And his ability to transition to there really allowed us to finish the season off the right way.
I know a lot of stress was placed on Bryce Perkins when you think of the Virginia offense.
Right.
But when you look at guys like Joe Reed, who they're expected to come back, what sort of talent do they have on those skilled positions?
Yeah, I think when you look at their wideouts, they have size outside. They can catch the 50-50 balls. I think their guys have really strong hands because they make catches in tight quarters and have ways to get the ball. They really have a combination of size within. They have number 80, who's a quicker guy that can work to get open in space. So the combination of size with a little bit of quickness and the movements and things like that allow productive players outside that when the ball is in a close area, they can make plays. And when you watch their passing game over the last 3 games, they've averaged almost 300 yards a game. And I think that's a credit to the ability outside as well as the quarterback continuing to develop himself.